The Gun Show Loophole, A Protection of Our Personal Rights by Jack Miller. Gun shows are held all over the country, and they are places where civilians can go to buy and sell their personal collection of guns. In order for companies and hunting stores to legally sell firearms, they must acquire a federal firearms license, or FFL. The FFL requires that all companies and hunting stores that sell guns must conduct a background check through the state police. At the gun shows, there is no required background check because civilians do not have an FFL, and the government does not require them to have one. In private gun transactions, the seller is required to ask to see the driver's license of the buyer to make sure they are a citizen of the state that the gun show is held in. The seller is also required to ask if the buyer has ever committed a crime and or if the buyer has ever been deemed mentally unstable to own a firearm. But how do you know if the buyer is lying to the seller? You don't. The gun show loophole has been linked to multiple gun violent crimes. All kinds of guns are sold at the gun show, and they range from small .22 caliber pistols to pistols that shoot shotgun shells, to assault weapons that fire military-grade bullets, to .50 caliber rifles that were originally designed to destroy vehicles by breaking the engine block in the motor. Gun enthusiasts love to collect weapons that the United States military issues to its soldiers because of the power it gives them and the thrill they experience while shooting the guns. Should civilians be allowed to own guns that the military uses in combat? Yes. It's the civilians' right to bear arms for their personal protection and their protection against their government. It states in the Constitution that if people think the government is not serving the best interest of the people, then the citizens have the right to overthrow the government. This is why the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights is the right to bear arms. The gun show allows Americans to buy and trade guns that are not regulated by the government. The problem is criminals take advantage of the lack of government oversight and buy guns for committing crimes. To cut down on convicted criminals from purchasing firearms, some politicians are crafting laws that will make private selling of firearms illegal without a background check. Private citizens will be unable to conduct a background check because looking up an individual's records would be an invasion of privacy. A law-abiding citizen would also be unable to sell a firearm to an individual they personally know. A citizen has the right to sell personal property to another person, and if the government bans the private sale and purchase of firearms, then the government would be taking a fundamental right away from the public. We must ask ourselves, what are we willing to give up for protection? Should we let the government take away our right to sell private firearms to keep the guns out of the hands of criminals? Or should we keep the gun show loophole in order to maintain our right to bear arms, the check on the government, and personal protection? The gun show loophole is a double-edged sword. The more laws the government enacts, the more freedoms Americans lose. Americans must understand that the government protection comes with the loss of freedom. We need to compromise and find the perfect balance in order to fix the gun show debate. A gun-educated America is our best bet in decreasing gun violence.